welcome back to my channel. Well, today we are outside Lagg Distillery on the Isle of Arran in the village of Kilmallory. Now this is a newer distillery, it opened in 2019 and it is the sister distillery of the one in Lagg, which is at the top of the island. This one is concentrating on peated whisky and the one up at Lagg is now concentrating on non-peated whisky. There is quite a difference. It's single malt whisky that's been produced at both sites, and Prince William and Prince Harry have a keg reserved at this one which will be ready in several years probably. But the stuff here are lovely. There's a cafe, whisky bar and a restaurant area on site. There's also a shop. We're going on the guided tour and we get a tasting as well. So let's away. So we're going to wait down here where the tour begins. I don't know how many of us there are on the tour, but they were perfectly fine about us filming, which is amazing. Of course, if there's any areas where we're not allowed to film, they'll let us know. Some things need to be kept a trade secret and we fully respect that.
Looks like they start quite young here.
Yes, that can't be a bad thing. I have a recipe book at home of Scottish whisky recipes which my mum bought me once on one of her visits to Edinburgh, and there's some really nice recipes in there. Oh look, Robert Armour. I wonder if that is to do with Jean Armour, or Rabbie Burns' wife's ancestry. Robert Armour. Homemade stills were often made from tin, which poisoned the spirit. The best stills were made of copper, and in the early 1800s, many Arranachs bought theirs from Robert Armour of Campbelltown on nearby Kintyre. The skilled coppersmith smuggled 53 stills made behind his legitimate premises to Arran's illicit distillers. Robert kept meticulous records from which it's possible to pinpoint the individuals and groups on Arran who undertook illegal distilling. This map shows the approximate location of illicit stills on Arran gathered from Robert Armour's account books.
Lit as if by 1,000 rainbows, amid the rumble of the loudest thunder, from the deep marine sediment, raging molten red igneous rocks were thrown up into the sky, creating this spectacular landscape of Arran. Here at its western extremity, the great Highland boundary fault split the typical rugged Highland landscape from the green pastures of the south, creating the island label of Scotland in miniature.
Like the rest of Scotland, Arran shuddered under the immense weight of ice, several miles thick, gouging out the deep valleys of the island, leaving behind the impressive glens and massive ice-worn boulders we see today, with dramatic changes to the coastline and landscape. The retreat of the ice left behind a mixture of fine clays, sands and gravels. The resultant soils were often poor and acidic in the north, but more fertile in the south. The early human inhabitants arriving thousands of years ago left their mark in the unusual symbolic stones, such as those on Macri Moor.
The survival of the people of Arran depended on what they could harvest from land and sea, together with their own skills and labour. Locally grown potatoes became a staple of their diet. In the south end of Arran, the farming community was fortunate, having richer soils in which they could grow cereals such as oats and barley and raise livestock. Nevertheless, life was hard, and a daily struggle in an unforgiving climate.
After many extreme changes, the cool, moisture-laden winds, warmed by the mild Gulf Stream from the southwest and the island's acidic rocks, created the extensive wetlands of peat, sometimes several meters deep. The scarcity of trees made this the most valuable resource of fuel.
With the raw ingredients such as grains and peat fuel readily to hand, the conditions encouraged illicit distilling, offering the prospect of additional income to supplement the meagre living from agriculture and occasional fishing. The men who attempted to outwit the forces of the law had to be bold and skillful mariners, prepared to risk their lives in any weather, usually at night, to get the contraband to the waiting buyers on the mainland, whilst evading the revenue cutters.
The location of Lagg, at the very southern tip of Arran, offered not only ready access to the agricultural produce of the more fertile part of the land, but also for shipping the water of life, both legal and illegal, to the mainland.
Opened in 1825, the original Lagg distillery operated on the site of a former flax mill in the village of Lagg until 1840. However, illicit distillation persisted in the area for many years thereafter. With such a rich whisky heritage, what better place to build a new Lagg distillery and rekindle the long tradition of whisky making in the south of Arran.
Hope you enjoyed that, guys.
We had a tasting and we were given this card which gives us discount off 2 of the whiskies, the ones that we tried. One has been aged in a sherry cask, so we can get money off either of those 2. We've had a nice lunch and we've talked to the staff here, they're lovely people who were interested in our channels and what we did, and now we're going to have a wander around the gift shop to see if we can find anything, which I'm sure we will, within our budgets that we would like to take away with us. So I hope you enjoyed this little trip with us. If you did, please like, please comment. Do you like whiskey? If you do, what's your favourite? Have you been to Scotland? and been to any of the Scottish distilleries perhaps, please share, please subscribe, ding the notification bell, ding ding, and I'll see you again soon for the next one. Until then, bye for now.